Good morning. My name is Dave Smith with TransWest Express. Thank you, Jennifer, for the introduction, and I'd like to thank the WIA, the board, and Lloyd and the staff for putting together this conference. As Rod mentioned, I think this is our sixth presentation to the board on the TransWest project. It's quite an exciting time for the project. We had some major milestones met last year, and looking forward to a very productive year this year, so I'll go through that for the board. Just talked about a 6-year time frame. Most of that time frame has been taken up with this marathon called the NEPA process for citing of lines within federal lands as a federal action. It's required to go through the NEPA process and develop a EIS. I like this picture because it shows all the different people and everyone else that gets involved in this process. There's many stakeholders, many different groups that are working on this process, and so it often feels like you're not alone on the road there, but you're elbowing for space and crowd. And the picture here is nice because everyone's headed in the same direction, I believe. And that's not always the case, I think, as we work with many stakeholders with many different priorities and views and such. But I think that as we're moved on with the process, everyone's headed in the same direction to get focused on producing high-quality decision-making documents in a timely fashion. So here we've listed a number of the items that we've done. The major milestone we met last year was having the draft EIS published back in July. There was a 90-day review period for that, comments received, and currently the BLM has incorporated those comments and are taking decisions now if there's any changes in some of the preferences that they showed in the draft EIS. So to the finish line, the final EIS is scheduled for release mid-year this year, followed by a record of decision. So we look forward to that record of decision this year. The record of decision and a series of other items will, for us, culminate the development period for the project, so we can move forward to focus on construction in 2015 timeframe. So again, we're looking forward to those milestones. This is a map of the alternative corridors being examined in the EIS. There's just a series of different routes that are being looked at. All of the white, which is not much that you see on this map, are the private lands. And all the colored areas are federal lands, federal or state public lands. We have a little chart here showing the percentages. Generally, the routing for the line is 2/3 in public lands, and 2/3 of that public land is managed by the BLM, which is all the yellow that you see. For the route, it's a 725-mile project. The project, introduced the project, it's a 3,000 megawatt DC project that would go from up here in Rawlins, Wyoming, all the way down to a large electrical interconnection point just south of Las Vegas, where Hoover and a lot of other infrastructure comes through. The purpose of the project is to bring renewable energy from Wyoming, wind energy from Wyoming, to the markets in California. And I'll talk about those markets in a few minutes. So the routing is 725 miles from point to point. And we just show here our proposed route is the green route, which follows existing corridors, existing transmission lines to the greatest extent possible. I think we're well over 90% of the route is following corridors and existing lines. And then the agency preferred route, you can see here, is highlighted in this red outline. So there are some differences between our proposed route and the agency preferred route. We're looking forward to finalization of the agency preferred route as it comes out in the FEIS. Although we're confident we can move forward with any of these routes and move forward with the construction of the project. TransWest is being developed by the Anschutz Corporation. I'm an employee of the Anschutz Corporation. Anschutz is developing this project, TransWest, as well as another project, another Wyoming-based project. The power company in Wyoming is developing the Chokecherry and Sierra Madre wind farm project in Rawlins, Wyoming, which is a 3,000 megawatt wind generating farm in Rawlins. The other partner that we have with the TransWest Express project is the Western Area Power Administration. We are co-developing the projects with Western on a 50-50 basis. We signed a development agreement back in 2011 and are working on the development of the project. Our partnership with Western is quite valuable to the project. Western, as a federal agency, is required, needs to also go through the NEPA process and to make their federal decision on whether to participate on the project. So as such, Western is a co-lead with the BLM on the EIS development, and that has been proven very helpful as Western has worked on a lot of transmission projects in a lot of different jurisdictions and has been able to help forward along the different land management agencies on the different types of unique characteristics of transmission projects in the permitting process. So, also, Western owns, operates 17,000 miles of transmission line, has lots of experience, lots of technical capabilities, operating capabilities, and we value their partnership very much for the project. Going forward, Western can't make a decision on participation for the project until they have completed their EIS assessment. And so, as I mentioned, 2014 is a significant year for the development of the project. With a record of decision, then Western and TransWest will work on finalizing arrangements for moving forward with the project. In addition to that federal agency, the Department of Energy, there's a number of different agencies that are formed as the rapid response team for transmission projects. Rod mentioned that group earlier in his Gateway projects. Gateway West project, TransWest, are two of the 7 projects that were identified back in 2011 for the focus of this team in accelerating the permitting process and the work between the different government agencies to work on these projects. So we have been very helpful in moving forward with the projects, but forward with the projects that we enjoy their support. The TransWest project, as you can see here, from Wyoming down to the Nevada area, Desert Southwest Marketplace, is a complementary project to the Gateway projects. Rod highlighted how the projects are focused on serving their customers in the Intermountain region. The TransWest project is a regional project so California can access Wyoming's wind resources. California has significant renewable needs. They're mainly supplying those renewable needs over existing transmission lines and primarily through in-state projects. They are developing some transmission projects within California to get to different remote locations for solar panels, but to date they have not focused largely on the Wyoming market. Some of the concerns that we hear with the Wyoming market is basically the transmission capacity and access to that. In addition to the permitting process, we had a lot of work and have completed a lot of work in the past years to talk about to raise awareness and to get consensus on Wyoming as a viable option for California. This is an area where the WIA has been very supportive over the past year, working in California, and also very supportive in developing different materials and analysis for the project. On the economic frontier, which this slide focuses on, Wyoming is, has a lot to benefit from these projects as resources get developed in Wyoming, bringing economic development to the state. The other side of the story is California has a lot to benefit from these projects as well, as these are low-cost resources that can be efficiently delivered from the HVDC transmission project to meet the needs for California in their current market for a 33% renewable portfolio standard that has to be met by 2020. As we move through the permitting process, we're a little delayed from what we originally set out. However, it's we are within the market time frame for California. California has a lot of projects in their books that are being planned and looked at, and when we assess the TransWest and some of the wind development projects here in Wyoming, they're actually ahead of some of the permitting and other processes. We have a great economic story to tell, and we look forward to continuing to preach that message in California and with the WIA support. So with that, I'll conclude my remarks. We're looking forward to a great 2014, start of construction in 2015, and placing equipment into service and providing California access to Wyoming in 2017 timeframe for these projects to meet their needs in California. So that I'll conclude.